Welcome everyone. Today we are talking about why Xander Harris sucks ass. Now I would like to preface this with the Scoobies are all bad friends at some point, and we will be doing a separate video on that. And I also want to say that Buffy the Vampire Slayer is genuinely my favorite show of all time. I think it is the greatest television show ever written. It is the reason that we have as many powerful female characters as we do now. They would not exist without Buffy the Vampire Slayer. It literally changed pop culture as a whole, and it's the thing that made me want to be a writer. That said, Joss Whedon has said himself that Xander is a self-insert character, so obviously Xander sucks, because Joss Whedon is human garbage. So, I went through every single season, episode by episode, writing down all of the reasons and specific instances for why I hate Xander. So let's start with season 1. Now, the only major thing in season 1 that makes Xander Harris suck is that he's jealous of literally every boy that gets anywhere near Buffy's general vicinity. Owen, Angel, as soon as he finds out Angel's a vampire, he wants to kill him. Even after they find out Angel has a soul, he wants to kill him. He doesn't care about Buffy. He's simply infatuated with her as someone that he cannot have because she is not attracted to him, because duh. So the fact that he is so possessive over her existence is super gross.
Just anyone. We must step up our training with weapons.
Yeah, Buffy, you should stay at my house and tell these samurai guys our history. What? Don't worry about Angel. We'll look around your house and tell him to get out of town fast.
Angel and Buffy are not in any immediate jeopardy.
And then we have the start of season 2. Buffy was away with her dad for the summer, and she comes back, and that first episode starts with him and Willow having a moment. They literally almost kiss until they're interrupted by a vampire that Buffy slays. So he was very much leading Willow on, and then the second Buffy came back, dropped her like a hot potato. Xander just needs attention so badly that he's willing to fuck over his friends to get it, and it's pathetic. And then in season 2, he continues to be jealous of every man that Buffy has ever met. We see this when Ford comes to town, and yeah, does that end great? No. But Xander says something to the effect of, doesn't she know any fat guys? That line didn't age super well. I understand it was 90s, early 2000s, but I have dated several men that would be considered fat, and they were, well, one of them was a narcissist. But that doesn't change the quality of them as a person, so I didn't love that. But also, Xander is literally threatened by every man that comes to interact with Buffy in any way, shape, or form, despite the fact that she never shows any interest in him whatsoever. That's sad. And then we just have his entire lack of thought. He starts quipping at Cordelia about wanting to go save Buffy from the judge, but literally how? Xander is completely useless. At least Willow had like her techie breaking into stuff, hacking into things thing, and then eventually super powerful witch. Xander remains consistently useless throughout the entire series. Xander is nothing, and yet he runs into danger to put himself in the position to be a distraction and make everyone else come save him without any fucking forethought. And at this point, he's with Cordelia, yet still willing to die for Buffy, and Cordelia points this out. And it's not the first time a woman that he is with points out his unnatural and unhealthy obsession with Buffy. But then we have, while he's dating Cordelia, we have Xander being jealous of Willow and Oz, even though he's with Cordelia. He really can't stand to have any of his female friends dating anyone that isn't him, and it's super gross, despite the fact that he is already in a relationship with someone wildly out of his league. And then Cordy and Xander break up, and we have the love spell episode. Xander can't handle rejection so much that he gets Amy to put a love spell on Cordelia. Obviously it doesn't work, backfires, all of the other women of Sunnydale are on him, but that is disgusting, because let's get to the root of that. A love spell is inherently coercion. So anything that happens after said love spell is sexual assault, because it is not informed, it is not actual consent, it is manipulated, and it's gross. And that just speaks to who Xander is as a person. And then we have the end of season 2. One of the things that pisses me off the most about Xander is the kick his ass line. I will never forgive Xander for this. I genuinely can't believe that it didn't come up until the final season. He had no intention of letting Buffy know that they could save the love of her life and all she had to do was stall. He was only ever interested in killing Angel, despite how Buffy felt about him. He didn't care about Buffy's feelings. He didn't care about Buffy. All he saw was Buffy like Vampire Boy. Vampire Boy must be bad because Vampire Boy competition for me, despite the fact that he never had a chance with Buffy because she did not like him. It was infatuation, and it was super fucking gross. Okay.
In your room, in your bed?
Not in my bed, by my bed.
That is so romantic. Did you, did he,
Perfect gentleman.
Buffy, come on, wake up and smell the seduction. It's the oldest trick in the book.
What? Saving my life? Getting slashed in the ribs?
Duh. I mean, guys will do anything to impress a girl. I once drank an entire gallon of Gatorade without taking a breath.
Okay, top of season 3. Xander and Cordelia are back together, and he proceeds to cheat on her with Willow. Yes, Willow cheated too, and yes, it is equally as wrong. However, she's been in love with Xander since elementary school, and he knew this. He was aware of it. So when he finally deigns to give her some attention, she folds. Was it bad? Yes. Was it a moment of weakness for her? Of course. Not excusable, but understandable. His cheating, however, has no reason, justification, or understanding behind it at all. He's just selfish and stupid and wanted to collect women like they were trophies, and I hate him for it. Then we have the episode where Xander was split into two Xanders, two entities, and I think this is the perfect example of why he sucks, because they make it pretty clear that all that spell did was separate traits he already had. Now, they try to make it seem like positive traits and negative traits, but those both go in air quotes because all of his traits suck. The good version of him was smarmy and arrogant and and the bad one was whiny and weak and pathetic. But all of those things are Xander. He is arrogant and overconfident for no reason, because again, he's nothing. He's worthless. He's a waste of space. So that whole episode was just, there's no good or bad Xander. Xander is just garbage. Then we have the situation with Buffy and Riley. Riley was willingly letting himself get fed on by vampires, and Xander somehow turns that around and makes that Buffy's fault, and then convinces her to go after Riley, despite Riley being an absolute garbage boyfriend and person. But of course they got along. Of course fucking Xander liked Riley, because they were both trash people who didn't deserve Buffy in the first place. And then season 6, once more with feeling, my most watched episode. But again, let's go to the core of it. The Scoobies have been working with Buffy for years now, and somehow he summons a demon because he's so dense and so fucking stupid that years of being at Buffy's side didn't teach him that summoning beings and summoning demons was probably always going to be a fucking bad thing. And he almost lets Dawn take the fall for it. Like, I just... deep, guttural, internal hatred for Xander. And then we knew I wasn't going to get through this video without saying that Anya and Xander are supposed to get married, but of course, Xander manages to fuck it up in the worst way possible. He leaves her at the altar. An undeniably shitty person thing to do. But that's not the worst part of it. At least not for me. While poor Anya is coping and grieving, she sleeps with Spike, as anyone has the right to do. By the way, I would like to pause for a minute and say that if you dump somebody, you get no opinion, no thoughts, no words on how that person chooses to cope with your dumping. I don't give a fuck if you like it. I genuinely don't care. Your opinion doesn't matter. Your feelings no longer matter. So the fact that he has the audacity to yell at Anya, call her disgusting and inhuman for letting Spike have sex with her is, oh my god, so fucking infuriating. And I love that Anya yells at him. Because again, if you break up with someone, you don't get an opinion on how that person chooses to cope. So not only does he get pissed at Anya and call her disgusting, but when he finds out that Buffy has also slept with Spike, that lovely little sense of possessiveness and infatuation that we've been talking about creeps back up. He acts so righteous and holier than thou, like he gets to have any opinion on what these women do with their bodies in their spare time. You don't get to have an opinion. It's actually stupid. Then we jump to season 7, and Anya's a demon again, and she's on a murder spree. And Xander tries to stop Buffy from doing her job. After egging her on to kill the love of her life, he very hypocritically decides that when it's a person that he cares about, she can't be the Slayer. He tries to challenge Buffy by saying, "You think you're the law," and blah 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 blah. She is the fucking law. She is the Slayer. Xander needed his ass kicked way more often than he got. And then we have this, season 7, the potentials come in, and he has this disgusting fantasy about the potentials, like pillow fights in their underwear, and them wanting to sleep with him because they have this, like, last night on Earth thing. Almost all these girls are young girls. Like, high school aged girls. He's disgusting. I hate it. And then we go from, literally in one episode, from him defending Buffy and her plan and her leadership to the potentials, to him helping them kick her out of her own house because he lost an eye. Oh, I'm Xander and I lost an eye and it's so traumatic and I'm sad because I put myself in a situation where I shouldn't have been in anyway because I'm fucking useless in a fight. And season 7 and you just now fucking lost an eye? You lucky ass stupid bitch. You should have lost limbs years ago, and the only reason you didn't is because Buffy is a really good friend. How about you sit your dumb useless ass at home and not put yourself in danger that you can't fucking handle, and then bitch about the fact that you lost an eye. Buffy died twice. I don't give a flying fuck about your stupid eye. Anyway, whoo, deep breath. I hate Xander Harris. No one will ever change my mind. He is the worst character in Buffy the Vampire Slayer, and he is the worst character on television ever. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk.